Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. On this video, it's just going to be a short one. I'm just going to open up this switch that I repaired and just show you what's inside the switch, what connections go where. So I've just put some M3 screws through it and some nuts to hold it in place. I haven't put the rivets through there to hold it back together again. And excuse me for the kids playing in the next door but one garden. They are a bit rowdy, but you know, everybody's got their right to play, and who am I to tell them to be quiet? So it's just life. So what you would normally do here, the rivets, you'd drill them out. I've left a little bit in there so you can actually see it there, and I've drilled it out from this point of view through the middle. So you've got where it's preened over, top and bottom is still there. So once you drill that out, you can actually open it up, and then we're looking at what we've got inside. So try and straighten this up a bit more than it is. So that's the housing with the horn. It's got two little washers that hold in the horn mechanism, and you can pull that off and then push your button out the way. So that would be stripped completely down. Inside here this is the main red one, sorry, orange one. So that's your power. I'm looking for a little screwdriver to point more, but it is what it is. So this side here, the right hand side, this will be the way that it's actually on the bike. As you can see now, that would be the way it would be on the handlebar. So the right hand side is the orange, and then you've got your blue and red on top and bottom. So what actually happens is this bar moves up and down. So when you hear the click, it will be in position for blue, and then it will click down for red. So high and low beam, high beam, low beam, high beam. And that's held in with a spring. Hope you can see that little spring. And that goes into the rocker part of the switch, and you've got a metal pin that goes through it. That metal pin actually sits on this cut out here and rocks between the two. And what happens is the spring sits in there, and the metal slider contact, whatever you want to call it, see what I mean, it's sprung loaded. It's quite sod to keep in line, unfortunately, but the spring just wants to keep falling over at the moment. They're not normally that bad, but it goes in like that, sprung loaded, and when you're moving up and down on your switch, that's what that goes into these little cutouts here, and you get the click, goes over and clicks down again. It's got like a little hump in it there, and the two contacts are there. You can get what's known as a filer pencil. It's a little, looks like a pen, and it's got a fiberglass or brass like file in it. They're like loads of little file parts, and you can just rub it up and down and clean it. I don't know where you can get them from other than eBay at the moment, because of the Tandies or whatever they used to be called. They used to sell them for a couple of quid each, and you could get the refills for them. I've got one probably over there in a toolbox, and if I get a chance I'll pull it out to show you. But for cleaning contacts, that's the best thing going. Other than that, a little bit of wire wall. I haven't gone overboard on this because it did work. It was just the wires needed soldering. If you try and solder from here, from the outside through, you'll never make contact. And what you could actually do is actually melt it inside. So you're better off to open it up, and then desolder the wires, put your new wires in and solder them back again. This terminal here is your horn. So what you've got there is, as I was explaining on the previous video, the brown wire goes into your horn, and this is on the opposite side of the horn. The white wire goes down your horn cast, plugs into the left hand side normally of your horn. On an AC one it doesn't really make any difference, and when you press on your horn, that actually touches the earth, and it earths through the screws basically here. It earths through the screws into the handlebar, and that's inside the switch is the easiest way I can show it to you. So if we go to stick this back together again, so the button for the horn goes in like so, and then we've got our metal part which just pushes in, and that's held in place by 2 nylon washers, which should go on quite easy. They're actually round the wrong way, but whatever. Push that on, and then the other one push on. And if you can see, I've still got the the metal part, the rivet if you want to call it that, that's still in there at the moment, but that's what you're pushing against. Basically this is sprung loaded. See that, how it pushes back when it's all married up, because this when it's pushed home actually rests on here, so it's solid. You're pushing against here, and you're just earthing to that pin. So you got your orange one is your main power from the light cluster, red and blue, or in this case blue and red for high and low beam, and your horn, and that's all that does. On an LI switch, which I don't actually have with me, I'm saying I haven't got with me, I've actually got, I've got some series 2 ones which I could actually show you the principle on there. They've got more because they don't have the ignition on them, so I'll do that on a different video, because I'm aware that it can get a bit tedious and boring. But as you can see, there's not a great deal amount of anything inside these switches really. You know, this has not been built properly yet, because I would have polished this up to be shiny like new and then rebuilt it again. As I say, the first person I ever knew that did these was a guy called Vic Saunders, who sadly passed away a few years back. But anybody who's been into scooters for a long time will know Vic. He used to have a lot of trade stalls at lots of Lambretta shows, etc., and he used to sell a lot of what people would throw away. He would re-weld, like horn castings, redo all the threads on them. And at the time, years ago, when you couldn't really buy the stuff, you know, they weren't making new switches and stuff like that. It was all pretty rubbish Indian stuff at the time. There weren't the quality that you know there is. Lambretta always had poor quality, in my opinion, of, you know, spares from years ago. It was very hit and miss, but the Indians got their act together over the years and started, I suppose because they were fighting against the Spaniards and other people starting doing their own stuff, they actually got their act together and started to make some decent stuff. So, you know, supply and demand can move the goalpost, if you like, but that's for another day. And I'll end this video here on that. I'm not putting it back together because it's fiddly to do with the camera in the way, but suffice to say, I'll do that off camera and I'll show you it working again. It's basically, you're lining this up in, you have to hold it when you put the lid on with your finger, so it's all under tension. Put the cover on while moving your finger, and as you push it up, make sure it clicks in and clicks out, and then obviously do these nuts up and screws, and make sure it still clicks when it's fully right home, you know, as far in as it can go. And then you can just put your new rivets in. I mean, like I say, I've got to drill this one out. It was just one that I was toying with the soldering, basically. I don't think people need to show how to solder, etc., but you know, the cable had broken. This is all original as it was. It came from a GP, this is a GP switch, being black, and the style of them, there's different styles for the different scooters. Like TV will have a different style than SX, and they marry on from the TV one, 175, that would be Series 2, and they're all slightly different. And there was like a cut-off period between which model dropped out and which model had them. There's no, you know, you can put a white switch on a later TV, which the SX basically used. The last of the TVs had a no chrome ring, and that was basically an SX, well, what the SX 200 and 150s came out of, the last of the TV 200s. Before that, they had the chrome ring, and they had a different switch on, and they also had a different switch which sort of they inherited from the TV 175 Series 2. So if you know what to look for on your switches, you know, it depends how far you want to go into your, it's got to be right. You know, the older bikes had white or ivory looking switches, and the later ones like the GP have got black, Li 150S, stuff like that. The very much later ones were black. Before that they were white, and unfortunately I haven't got a white switch with me. I've got one in bits somewhere, TV one, and again I'd have to dig it out somewhere. I need to get myself sorted out with all my electric stuff. Just as a footnote, I just built the switch up again, and you know, it's working okay. So it's you can actually, you probably can't see with the camera, but you can actually see the toggle movement there, and you can move that. I mean, you can spray some contact cleaner in there, but it's because it's off camera, it's taken me literally 2 minutes to put it back together again. So I'll put that away safe till I need it basically, and I'll build it up. So that's just a sort of a footnote to the video. What I'll do is I'll graft it on the end of the other one. So once again, thanks for watching.